Oh, it's slow today. Here we go. Okay. So here comes everyone. So I've started the Temple Municipal Court meeting, and I just want to sort of confirm who's here, make sure I have the proper files, and probably give some introductory remarks. I'll be a little bit repetitive until I see that people's audio has connected. I do see Rebecca Tassel Naaman. If you,
Yes.
Are you with Takac Firm?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll be with you shortly because I will actually start the pretrial docket in the beginning. And I just have one or two people that were here just a tad before you. So yeah, I'm going to keep everybody muted until it's your turn. But I'm going to ask to unmute the iPad 4. If you're just named iPad 4, I'm asking you to unmute. Tell me your name so I can. Yes, what's your name?
Hi, yes, my name is Megan Detweiler.
Megan Detweiler. Okay. And are you able to get on screen?
Yes, I didn't know if y'all were like to see my face. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Okay, well, I have you marked in and we'll be with you shortly. I think that was it for who I couldn't identify. So I do want to give us some opening remarks and let you know that welcome to the Temple Municipal Court, and I'm Judge Person. And also that this is court, even though we're online and we have some convenience about that. And we also have two meetings happening at the same time. One is a regular docket, and I'll give some opening remarks in a moment for that docket. The other is the pretrial docket, and I'll just go ahead and begin that right now. I do have Attorney Paynes here on the Katrina Ray, I'm going to say this incorrectly, Rayan case. If you could unmute, ma'am, and just give me your name, and we'll make sure the audio is working.
Good morning, Your Honor. Pamela Panis, appearing on behalf of Ms. Rain.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Panis. I'm going to go ahead and send you to the breakout room with the prosecutor. Our prosecutor is Ryan Matson. Mr. Matson, can you unmute for a moment? Let everybody see you by making, just let us know who you are.
Good morning, everyone. That's me.
Okay, and that's Ryan Matson. He is the city's prosecutor. He does not work for me as the judge. He is the attorney appearing in my court. And right now, he and Ms. Panis are going to go ahead and have a pretrial conference. We do that off the main meeting because it's really, things can be mentioned there that the judge should not be privy to. And so we keep that. If you were in the courtroom, we do that in a separate room. And so we're doing it much the same way. So here we go. I'm just going to send you over, Ms. Panis, and when you're done, you'll come back in this meeting so that we can just have some closing remarks before you go. And Mr. Matson also sending you over to that room. And there they went. So just those remaining, I'm going to work with people who are here on my docket. And my docket is actually just called a regular appearance docket. And I just wanted to also let you know a few things. I think it's very helpful for people to know how things move through a court. So in Texas, if you're in a Class C court, and that's what this is, what distinguishes a Class C case differently, and there's some key factors. There are many of the rules that are the same, most of them. And then so I'm just going to highlight some slight differences and also options that you have. So when you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods that we have under the law for accusing someone. That is what a ticket is. It's an accusation. We are presumed not guilty. And when we enter a plea, when the judge says, how are you pleading? You're under oath at that point. You can consider yourself to be under oath. But at that point, you're telling me the direction that you're taking your case by the type of plea that you enter. So if you plead not guilty, you're just maintaining that innocence that the law presumes, moving that case. Really, that case is moving toward a trial, because ultimately, when we say not guilty, we're also saying prove it. The state has the burden of proof at that point to prove that case. So I'm treating that case as if it's heading to a trial. So it's on a trial process. And that's why this setting is called a pretrial. And it's also set on your paperwork. You would have received both this setting, the pretrial for Zoom, and a final pretrial here in the court. And if the case is not resolved today, we have an in-court final pretrial that is live, for the simple fact that there's multiple rights and duties that we have at each layer. Those are really best done in a courtroom, because at that point the case is contested. I'm very much even more assuming that it's heading to trial, and we need to start doing the hearings in court at that point. I am of the opinion that Zoom is great for checking in on things, making sure things are working the way they're supposed to work, that orders are being followed, that I know the plea that you're having. There's a lot of things we can do in Zoom where you shouldn't have to, as long as the rules allow it, you shouldn't have to come in and wait in a crowded courtroom just to get clarity. Uncontested things and things that look like they could be derailing maybe before they get too far off. So we're going to do that. But if a case is mainly just moving toward a contested hearing, a trial, something of that nature, we're going to be doing that live in the courtroom, because that's the most appropriate, in my opinion, connected to our Constitution and the Confrontation Clause. So you can expect to have that meeting with Mr. Mattson. If you're on the pretrial, you've pleaded not guilty. Just keep in mind, he does not represent you. He represents the party that filed the case. And so as a result, you're not required to make any kind of statement to him. What I am asking you to do is carefully consider your case and whether you're trying to take it to trial and whether you are attempting to plea bargain, because that's one thing that can happen in a pretrial conference. Is plea bargaining can happen there if you choose. Again, it's not a requirement. Okay, so just to keep things moving, and let me get the proper file pulled on the Rain case. And Mr. Mattson, I don't know if you have the word yet, but the Heather Donahoe case, Attorney Leal had a first continuance filed yesterday, but I got it this morning. And it was a first continuance. So it's being reset. We'll send you that date as soon as we know it. I'm going to give them a choice on our next two available dockets, but that should happen before their final pretrial.
That sounds great, Your Honor.
We'll be reaching out to you. Can confirm a date to minimize the disruption. So between you and Ms. Payne's, this is speeding in the schools in charge. Katrina Rain, and where are we? Let's begin, Mr. Mattson, to this matter.
Your Honor, there's going to be a deferral put in place.
Okay.
And I will send that document to you sometime this morning.
What are the conditions that the state is?
It's going to be a 120-day period with the driver safety course by the 60th day and payment of the fine by day 30.
Okay, so I will approve that, but let me ask first, Ms. Pennis, that is your agreement as well?
Yes, Your Honor, and I am authorized to accept that on behalf of my client today.
Okay, very good. So what's going to happen next is that will make its way to me. Are we? Mr. Mattson, are you sending it, or are we generating it in the court?
I can send it over, Your Honor.
Okay, I'll just make a note of that. And then what I will tell you is 120 days. I like to keep that by the court. I like to set days on days where I know that I'm going to be in the building in case there's any kind of trouble. So that end date, so it's a little bit rough. It's a few more extra days. February 21st is the end date, Mr. Mattson, on your order. This driver safety course by December 20th, payment by November 22nd, because again, I think the 18th is just falling on the holidays or weekends. And so we're just going to keep it to days when we know that is there a question, I'm available to answer it. Will that work for both of you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, we'll send that over as soon as, I'll just pre-sign it and send it. And that way, when you sign it, you send it back to us. You already have your copy with you.
Okay.
And then the only reason you would get another copy is if there's some kind of modification. If I notice an error. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, when we're all on the same page. Any questions, Ms. Pennis?
No.
Nothing from the state, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. You're good to go, Ms. Pennis.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Mattson and Mr. Miller, I will move y'all over to the trial room together. And so just getting back to what I was saying, if you plead, so the pleading options are not guilty, guilty, and no contest. I already described not guilty as a movement toward trial. And then guilty means I did this as charged. No contest means I'm not contesting it, not admitting or denying, just moving forward, sentencing. So if you plead guilty or no contest, we're moving into sentencing. Now, then the next question people usually have is, what are my options at sentencing? So the general rule, and law is kind of like this. There's a general rule, and then there's always a bunch of exceptions, because that's what lawyers are. That's what they do. So the general rule is that you're found guilty, it goes on your record, you pay the fines and costs. Okay, first let's talk about money, because it's the least favorite subject, and we might as well get it out of the way. So I look at the income information that you submitted to me. If you submitted it to me, it helps me understand your financial constraints. Most of us have them, okay? You are not alone. It's not fun information to talk about or disclose, but I ask for it so that I can make an intelligent decision about what to do there. I do ask for it on the contested docket, even where you've said not guilty, because at a certain point, I'm setting a bond before trial and I'm looking the same way at the information. It doesn't mean you're guilty. It means that I'm looking at bond information, because bonds get set when things are heading to trial. Rather than have people fill out like 3 different forms at 3 different points in the process, just get one form, you keep it up to date, we're good to go, and you have less paperwork. So do I. So if you've wondered why I asked for that information, that's why. And in connection with guilty or no contest, I'm looking at it in the context of sentencing. Okay. So I look at that to see what is happening for this person. And it needs to be able to make sense to me. For example, if somebody tells me they want a payment plan and I see that they're having trouble with the payment plan that they are wanting, or that they could have trouble, I might be asking them questions. Sometimes people don't want to disclose the information, and I'm not able to do anything other than give them 30 days to pay. So there's everything in between those things. And I'm just looking, and it's really case by case on the monetary piece of this. Okay. But Class C courts, remember I said we're in a Class C court, the sentence is fines and costs. So what a judge should be doing, what I need to be doing with you, is looking at that, and I'll need information in order to do that properly. Okay. And I'm trying to make an intelligent decision so that we don't have to keep coming back here. Now, that said, if you get into a court order, let's say you make a court order and I say, yes, I'll approve a payment plan. It's not 30 days. You can pay $100 a month. And then 30 days from today, you make your first payment and you go to work that day. And I hope this doesn't happen to anyone, but let's say that's the magic day that they're doing layoffs. And it's not like you signed up for a payment plan knowing there would be layoffs. You did not know. And so the duty then at that point is to come in and let us know what's going on so that I can make adjustments if I need to. Okay. So if you get into something like that and you're having trouble because there's a change, then come in and talk to a clerk. If a clerk can't give you an answer, they will get a written statement from you and route it to me, and I will see if I can make an adjustment or set a hearing so we can talk about it further. Okay. All right. So that's a helpful thing. I think it's just better for everybody to know, because I really expect people to keep up with it and let me know. Because the solution, if there's a problem like that scenario happens, and then the person doesn't come in, I set it for a hearing, and if they don't show up, I'm supposed to be moving that case toward a warrant process. And that's where with Class C courts, you're not sentenced to it as a result of being found guilty of the offense, but you can be sentenced to jail time for not following your court order. And that's really not even necessary. It's actually something that doesn't have to happen at all. What would be best is for you to come in and talk to us, or we take emails, we take letters, we take faxes, but call and make sure we received it if you send it in such a way, because you should be getting a reply, and it's up to you to make sure we got it. Because if you mail us a letter and it gets lost in the mail, I don't have a duty to make sure that it got here. You do. It's your case. Okay. So I just want to tell everybody that so that it kind of makes sense to you. Okay. Because I think we all do better if we know what's expected. So that's the money part. Now, the next thing people often have questions about is what are my options in terms of having it go on my record? If I plead guilty or no contest, and you're saying it goes on my record, what are my options? And really, that I have from the bench, there are 4. They are called, and I'm going to tell you, and then I'm going to walk you through them just quickly, and then things will move more quickly when we're all on the same page. So these are defined by law. Okay, there are dismissals for compliance, things that can be brought up to date and dismissed. I will tell you if you have something like that because the law says the judge shall do so. Driving safety courses work very similarly. And again, there's just requirements on that. And I'll start walking you through it if it looks like you're qualified to see if you're qualified. Okay. Deferred dispositions. I'm going to give you some information about that in a moment. And then teen court, which is an alternative way to sentence you. There will be things for you to do, but if you do them, you get a dismissal. Now, a deferred disposition, the third one that I talked about, deferred means to delay, disposition to make final, dispose of, to make something final. I delay making that case final. I accept your plea. I put a deferred in place. There are some conditions. We've got to work out payment. There might be a class, a record, an event, something that you have to prove that you did. Sometimes that's the case. Always, I want you not to get rearrested or get arrested or fail to come to court or get more offenses. Okay, no more tickets, warrants, or failures to appear. Keep your address current. If you do the things listed, and it'll be on a piece of paper that you sign, if you do the listed items, you get a dismissal. The trick with a deferred disposition, and it's different in a Class C court than other types of courts, is that you may ask the judge at the time of your plea. Now, in Class B, A, or felony courts, you must ask the prosecutor first. The prosecutor and you would bring that request to me to see if I approve it or don't. In a Class C court, on a plea of guilty or no contest, you may ask the judge directly on about 99% of the cases. If you ask and you have a case where I cannot grant it without the prosecutor approving, I will let you know. Okay, and we will route that through the proper channel to see if there is agreement or not in regard, because there are times where the state has a bit of a right there to be heard. So we might need to take that step. It's not most cases though. So guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred. That's what that looks like. The teen court is like a deferred, but it works a little differently because instead of payment, we're putting the burden on the young person to make restitution through their actions instead of money or words. Okay. So I'll talk to you about that if you're a student, because it's really for high school, middle school, homeschooled students. GED students can sometimes qualify too. So if you're in high school, middle school, homeschool, GED program, and I'm not talking to you about teen court, let me know. Hey, I'm a student. Okay. All right. So that's really the 101, and we're going to get moving. Mr. Miller, Mr. Matson on the Destiny Music case. Let me get the file pulled. Can y'all give me an update as to where we are at this time?
Yes, Your Honor. Discovery has been provided to Mr. Miller, and I believe an appeal will be filed as well.
Okay. Well, I'm going to just set it for final pretrial. The final pretrial date is November 15th. At 1 o'clock. Obviously, if the case is appealed before then, well, then we won't have that. But otherwise, I'll be expecting that meeting deadline for action. Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Miller. Thank you, Mr.
Maybe-
Matt.
May I be
Yeah.
excused, Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Miller, you may.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, make a note on there that he may be appealing. And we're moving forward. And so, Mr. Mattson, on the Ropiche, Voyabati. Did I say that close to correct? Anywhere near it? You can tell me.
I think so. It sounded good.
Okay, we'll go with that. So I'm going to move y'all on into the
Okay.
pretrial meetings.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor.
And then I am moving forward. Rosita Machuca, you unmute and tell me how you're doing this morning.
Okay,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. So I am looking, give me just a moment to review my file. All right, so I received a request from you for a payment plan of $100 a month. I can approve that, however, and I think, let me double check here. So just before we get to that, there's a speeding charge. This is from actually an older case, October 14th of 2018. And I did receive a plea of guilty.
Okay,
Is that your plea at this time?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then there is a no insurance charge. That one is also not as old, August 23rd of 2022. It's for no insurance, and I did receive a plea of guilty. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so first of all, with regard to August 23rd of 2022, were you insured driving the vehicle that you were driving that day? Okay.
No.
I just want to double check because that's a compliance issue with no, it would have to be in effect at the time of the stop. But you missed a court date on at least one of these cases. But I could still take insurance if you had it at that time. Without it, I just will accept your plea. And then the next thing is we're looking at, did review the information you provided. Frankly, while I don't mind a payment plan, I actually think it could be difficult to make that payment in the amount stated. I have the option in your case of ordering community service, and we could do that in lieu of payment. If we did that, let me tell you what it looks like first. The way that would look is that it would be 34 hours. We would begin with 60 days as a due date, which would be December 20th. And that would be instead of payment. If you got all the hours done prior to that date and turned them in, you're done. If you get some turned in and request an extension, I normally will work with you.
Okay.
If you're just not tending to it, I sometimes stop giving continuances because it's just not happening. But that's an option, and I do work with you, and I have a lot of latitude to work with you there. If you just want to insist on payments, or if there's more to your financial situation that I'm not seeing on what was given to me, I can approve a lower payment than that. And then if you want to pay more, you can always pay more. It's paying less that's the problem.
Right.
So in your situation, we would just set that at like $25 a month. And then if you wanted to pay it slowly, you can. If you find, yes, I can do it faster, you can. Incidentally, I do think, but I haven't checked yet, but I might have a hold on your license on your older case. And we do apply money, a paid applies to the oldest cases first. So those come off more quickly.
Okay.
And I'm looking, it looks like, yeah, I do have that hold because of just due to the passage of time. And while I can recall the warrants today, I don't release the hold on the license until the case is completed.
That's fine.
So I need kind of to hear from you at this point. to tell me where you are in terms of what you want to do. I can work this sentence out with you in the form of an agreement. So where are you with regard to this matter?
I would prefer to do payments opposed to community service.
Okay.
If you could do the lower payments, that would be great, and I will pay more when I'm able to.
Okay. Can you start and make a payment today?
I get paid Thursday.
Okay. Thursday is going to be in there.
I'm sorry,
Yep.
you can.
Thursday. Yes, Thursday is the 20th. Can we begin at that time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, it will always then fall on the 20th. Will that date work for you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then I can either email this to you and have you print it, sign it, and email it back, or you can come by the court to sign it here. So what will work best?
You can email it to me.
Okay. And the email that we use to set this meeting up, will that email work?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I do need it back today.
Yes, ma'am.
And give me a moment. Okay. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay. You are good to go, Ms. Mitchell.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. I know that you were talking with Ms. Naaman or Naaman. Way to say it. I'm gonna, okay. Looks like Naaman. And where are we on the Boyapati case?
Ms. Naaman is going to take an offer of deferral back to her client, and I will be sending paperwork over so that it can be signed if it's accepted.
Okay. And so also that means I'm going to set this for final pretrial, which is like a drop dead date to get everything back and done, or we'll need to be in the court. Okay. So that gives y'all some time to work on your paper flow. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. And if not, then we know that we don't have a deal and we.
Okay.
Final pretrial date, November 30th, 2022 at 1 o'clock. That should have been on your paperwork, but I think we probably send reminders or courtesy copies. And so, Ms. Naaman, you are free to go at this time.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ma'am. And Mr. Matson, you're moving forward with Rose Van Gorder. And Ms. Van Gorder, if I'm saying your name correctly, let me know.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay, I'm going to send you on over to that meeting room. And then when y'all are finished discussing, you'll come back over to this meeting.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. I'm moving forward with Patrick Smith. And Mr. Smith, if you can unmute and tell me how you're doing today.
Yes, ma'am.
How are you?
Good. How about you?
Thank you. I'm good. Okay. So on this one, give me just a moment to look at it. I just need to look at your booking history. So give me a moment. Before I do that, I do need to make sure I have understood your pleadings properly, okay? So there's a no driver's license charge, and this one is from April 4th of 2019. The fines and costs are $284.70, and I did receive a plea of no contest. That's your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I'll accept your plea. And then I'm moving forward. There is another no driver's license charge. This one is from, May 8th with fines and costs of $430.30. And how are you pleading to that charge?
For no driver's license,
Yes, sir.
no contest.
Okay. Then there is a no driver's license charge, a third one from July 6th of 2017, kind of going back in time. And I did receive a no contest plea. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then the final case is a possession of tobacco by a minor, And this is from actually July 27th of 2022. And I did receive a not guilty plea. That should be set for a pretrial. See what the schedule is.
For the tobacco, you said it's set for a pretrial.
Yeah, that because, okay, so if you plead guilty or no contest, I move forward with sentencing today. And I need to let you know that one has fines and costs of 231. Additionally, state law is that, hold on, I'm speaking. And then so the other thing is that with tobacco charges, possession of any amount of tobacco or the equivalent like a vape pen, something of that nature, anything with regard to that, if you receive a conviction, I am required to order a tobacco class as a sentence to part of that. So I just need to let you know of that consequence. I received a not guilty plea. So we actually don't talk about the facts of the case. That's one of the reasons I cut you off. And is that scheduled for today? Yeah. Oh, I see. Okay. That case went to warrant, so it didn't get scheduled yet for a pretrial, but we can look at scheduling that. Yeah. Okay. Did you have a question about that?
I did time served for that charge. I went to jail for a tobacco charge.
Yeah, I can't time serve you if you plead not guilty.
I meant
No, listen carefully. You need to understand this. It's really important. You can't say apply jail time and find me guilty, but I'm not guilty and I want a trial. Don't find me guilty. So you can't mix the two. You can't say like find me guilty and sentence me, but don't find me guilty and sentence me, because I can't sentence you and not sentence you at the same time. And I'm about to look at your jail credit, but on the tobacco case, I simply can't, because you pleaded not guilty. And that's your right to do that. It's not a problem. But you need to understand right now, I can't apply any credit to that, even if you were arrested at that time. I can take note of that time as a bond for a later point in time if you're found guilty. But I can't apply it right now, because in order to apply it, I have to have a plea that allows me to do so. Do you understand?
No, ma'am, because the woman at your office, she had told me, she had said, because she had printed out my jail record. She said,
Yeah.
You did time served for the tobacco. So just put now guilty and check time served on it. So that's the only reason why I put not
There
guilty.
must have been some confusion as to what you understood you were being told. And so I want to get real clear with you about it. I do see that on July 27th of 2022, you were arrested in connection with other things, on including a minor in possession of tobacco charge. And that is our charge here at the court. I see that charge. Okay. But if you're trying to get jail credit, you can't ask for a trial, go to trial. Let's say you go to trial and get found not guilty. I can't have already sentenced you to and taken your jail credit in. Because,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, I mean, think of it as money, because it is. So you go to jail, that's like money. Okay. So if you get found not guilty of an offense at a trial and you've put a bond down, I give your bond back because you were found not guilty. Yeah. Are you with me so far?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you pleaded not guilty to that charge. So right now, I can't give you jail credit and apply it to your case. I can make a note of it that you have jail credit available if it becomes needed. I want to talk to you about your other cases, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
So right now, let's talk about your driver's license charges.
Yes, ma'am.
So you did present me with your booking history report from the Bell County jail time. And there is plenty of time here that I can credit you towards your 3 no driver's license charges. Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
those 3 charges, I can zero out the balance.
Yes, ma'am.
So I time served those.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, your tobacco charge, you have credit here that I can credit to that, but I'm not allowed to apply that right now because you're saying you don't want me to do that. You're pleading not guilty. When you plead not guilty, you're asking for a trial. And I don't have a choice. I have to move that case for a trial. Is that what you're trying to do?
No, ma'am.
You're trying to go ahead and get the jail credit?
Yes, ma'am.
I can only do that on a plea of guilty or no.
You say you can only do that if I, yes, ma'am. I plead no con, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you're pleading no contest?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm gonna make a note of that on the form that you sent in.
Yes, ma'am.
And give me 1 second. I'm just looking to see if I'm allowed to
Yes, ma'am.
do away with the tobacco class because you are now 21. Yeah, no, I know that. It's not what he's wanting. Just a minute. The only waiver I'm seeing is that if he's 17 or older, he doesn't have to come to court. Okay, so just one more. Okay, so the health and safety code requires that I order an a tobacco awareness class. I can time credit you for the fine, but I am required to give you an order that you complete a tobacco awareness class within the next 90 days. And I will hand you that and a list of places where you can do that. I am allowed to make a finding that you need to do, you could do that online. And you do take that at your own expense. Those courses run usually less than $25. But I also want to tell you that I'm required, if you don't complete the course, to suspend your ability to obtain your license, or if you've obtained it, your actual license for 180 days. Okay. So, Mr. Smith, I'll need you to, I can time credit all the money on the cases.
Yes,
Um,
ma'am.
So I'm just making some notes.
Would I be able to get my license still?
I don't know that. I cannot tell you. You'll need to get with DPS about that. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Because really, I don't decide whether you get a license. I do decide whether I suspend it for things that are related to enforcement activity here at the court. But as far as like your record and how that impacts your ability to get a license, you've got to get with DPS about that. If you want, I can get you some information here at the court when you come by to pick everything up. And sometime today, I want to have you come in and pick everything up. And I will include in there a packet that I printed for how to get your license if you can't get a regular license, and how to know whether you can get a regular license versus whether you need a special license that will get you through a suspension period. So I will give you that packet, okay? As
Yes, ma'am.
along with your tobacco awareness class information. And sorry, I'm just making a note about that. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about what I'm telling you?
No, ma'am, I'm not at all. So I can do the class online?
Yes, I can allow you that. So what I'm saying is you can do the class online, the money I'm time serving, but the class online, what you're going to have today when you come by, will just really tell you that if you don't get that done, I have to suspend your ability to get a license or your license itself for 180 days. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. So right now my license is not suspended or ineligible or nothing.
I'm not going to say that because I have warrants and your cases have been pending for so long, some of them, that there could be a suspension due to the passage of time of these cases. Now, that's going to clear up, but sometimes when you get convictions while you are, it's kind of a double thing, because sometimes, you've let it go to a point where the only thing you can do is just take the hit and go. And the thing is, I don't know when that happens because it's everybody's record, and I don't see all of everything that you've done everywhere, and I can't give you legal advice. What I can do is hand you information that if you go online and look everything up, you can see today the status of your ability to get your license. And then you can see, you can look it up every few weeks and see how the things that you're doing now, these old cases, they're going to impact that situation. But there's really no choice because I have a hold right now on your ability to get your license. I have for some time because you waited a while to come in. I mean, these are 2017. So, the main thing I want to highlight to you is just to not keep doing it that way because it makes it more complicated. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll have everything for you when you get here, and I'll recall your warrants. I want to remind you that the court is a safe harbor space. So if you're coming in to reasonably resolve your cases in earnest, I will not arrest you. And that's my way of saying, come on in today and don't be worried about it, because I'm not looking to arrest you. I'm looking to get your signature and hand you the information you need to successfully complete what's next.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What time will we see you?
Y'all close at 5?
Yes.
Okay, I'll be in no later than 2:00. Well, 1.
Okay. I'll put a note there in the file so that they'll be looking for you and they'll have everything at the front.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Smith.
All right, thank you.
So, okay. So Ms. Van Gorder, Mr. Mattson, where are we with regard to this matter?
Your Honor, we're going to go ahead and set for final pretrial, but I anticipate this will be resolved prior to that date.
Okay. Final pretrial date is November 30th at 1. And I will plan to see you then.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Van Gorder.
Thank you.
You're good to go.
Thank you.
Mr. Mattson, I'm moving you forward with Jasmine Martinez. And Ms. Martinez, if you'll just unmute so we know that your audio is working, and then I'll move you on into that meeting. When that meeting ends, you'll be coming back over.
I'm so sorry. It kind of cuts out every now and then. I couldn't hear what that last part you said.
So when you're done with that meeting with Mr. Mattson, you'll need to come back into this meeting.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Well, Renzo Martinez. Trying to connect. It's just not connecting. Okay. Tony Hammond, can you get on screen, please? Tony Hammond, please unmute. Tony Hammond, can you unmute, please? Mr. Hammond, are you there? Well, yeah, also went away. Yes. Okay. You can try calling him. Mr. Hammond can he can have what he's requesting. Let's see. Let me try this one.
Hello?
Hi, Miss Wilburn.
Yes, I sent a response in. I kept trying to join the Zoom meeting over and over and over, and my phone kept saying that I was out of high-speed data, which means I have to purchase a $10 for 1 gigabyte, and I'm not able to purchase it today.
Okay, well, that's fine because we can do this by telephone, okay?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I tried. Did you get my reply?
Yeah, we got a message. It's not a problem.
Um,
Okay, so I just wanted to tell you though that I really think we need to just go back to the community. I think money is just a little too tight for you. It was 14 hours. Have you found a place where you can do the work?
No, but I can start looking.
Okay,
I'm feeling a little better. They kind of got my A1C under control with my diabetes, so
oh, I'm glad you,
I'll be able to complete it.
okay, well, I'm really glad to hear that. I'm looking, actually, you have made some payments. So your community service has dropped down to 8 hours.
That's fine. I can do that. As long
And
as I'm ample enough time to do it, huh? As long as she giving me to.
I'm gonna give you until the 20th of December.
Okay, yes, ma'am. I shall appreciate it because yeah, they got put me on insulin, different insulin, so I feel a lot better nowadays.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that. Listen,
Thank you, ma'am.
this is Judge Person. Do you have the list of providers, the places where, to do the work?
I don't have no, ma'am. I don't have one.
Okay, why don't you swing by the courtroom
Okay.
and, just at the window, and we can give you the new timesheet with the new due date.
Yes, ma'am.
And also a list of places.
Okay, that's fine. I know they probably gonna need a lot of help with the upcoming holidays.
Yeah, a lot of places will need the help with the holidays. It's a good time to try to do this, okay?
Oh, I'll have it done by then.
I'm really glad you're feeling better, ma'am, and I'll let you
Thank
go.
you.
What time can we look for you today?
What time do y'all close?
Well, we close at 5. We'd like you to get here in advance of that.
Okay, I'll set me up a ride, and I'll probably be there no later than 4.
Okay, I'll just put by 4.
Let me make it off the phone with you, Judge Pearson. I'll call my friend and let her know that I need to go down there.
Okay, Miss Wilburn, thank you. And we'll have everything. It'll be very quick. It won't take you but a minute or two in the building, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. God bless you. Have a good day.
Thank you for that. You too. Bye-bye. Okay, that's easily solved. I went ahead and modified that order. Okay, let's see. Mr. Mattson, I know that you were talking with Ms. Martinez. It's not coming up. Okay. All right, Mr. Mattson, Ms. Martinez, where are we with regard to this?
Your Honor, we're going to go ahead and set for final pretrial. Ms. Martinez has requested discovery and she wants a chance to view that, but an offer is on the table.
Okay. All right, Ms. Martinez, we will see you here for that discovery on the final pretrial date of November 30th at 1 o'clock, okay?
Okay. Sounds
And
good.
I'll set it for that as well. Thank you. You're good. Do you have further questions?
No, no, it's okay. But thank you.
Okay, all right, you're good to go then, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Mattson, I will move you into the meeting with Ms. Detwiller or Detweiler. Ms. Detweiler, I know previously we had you talk, and so I know your audio is working, but just go ahead and unmute and then I'll see. Mr. Hammond is having. Mr. Hammond, hi, good morning. Can you hear me? Let's see, you're on, it doesn't say that you can. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, put a thumbs up. Yeah, I don't think you can. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and, can I get his phone number? Let me just have his thing back. I'm gonna call him. Mr. Hammond, can you hear me?
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been.
He just keeps trying to connect to audio. Got another phone number on him. Try. Okay.
Well,
Hi, Mr. Hammond. This is Judge Person. How are you?
Yeah.
Hi. I know you can see me. I know you can see me on the screen, but I also can tell that your audio is not working on that system. So I thought I would just call you because I wanted to let you know I received everything that you sent me. And I made the determination that we should do community service instead of payment. And I ordered 14 hours due December 20th. And we are just emailing that to you now, the timesheet and the list of places where you can do the work. So
okay.
do you have any questions about that?
No, ma'am.
Okay, just make sure you read the rules very carefully. Make sure that you understand what you're being asked to do. If you have questions, call up here or come by and talk to one of the clerks. And if they can't answer, well, they'll send it over to me. But just be aware that it's 14 hours due December 20th. And that, it has to be a nonprofit. And I gave you a timesheet in the packet, plus a list of local places that I know are friendly to those requests.
Okay.
Okay. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just remember the due date, December 20th, a few days before Christmas. And that it's 14 hours. And that's instead of payment, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that way you can hang up off the call and also hang up online because, well, it wasn't working particularly well and I like to try to solve that.
Okay.
Okay, any questions?
No, ma'am.
You're good to go.
Okay, and the packet I picked up at the courthouse, correct?
Yes, come on by. That's the easiest way to do it, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. There we go. Okay, he's gonna come. If you are, I believe you. It's good to get a signature. Yeah, doesn't hurt if folks who are struggling with the technology. Okay, let's see. Trying to sort through this form and what a mess. Mm-hmm. Okay. We can show cause, Mr. Allen, but we're gonna show cause them into a live setting, November 16th at 2 during the final pre-call time. Do I have to import that one? Oh, then put him at one spot. That way, and also for his summonses that he's already gone off. Set those for a non-appearance show cause at that same date and time. And we can add the new one to 11 when he doesn't show up on 11/3, because you know that he just that same day, just send it for that schedule them all together. That will just wrap them all together. If he doesn't show up, I'm free to then go ahead and activate them and someone activate them. And if he shows up and picks up, we'll see we'll have Ron available. What does that document look like at this time? Because I'm wanting to say, let's close that document. Oh, okay, it's on here.
Oh, we do that. I mean, that's for like.
I don't know.
It's not very.
I use this as how I set
Yeah.
things.
It's not very.
Yeah. Fluff off. Okay, very good. Yeah. I'll start looking at these rates that are here. Yeah, well, he's playing sick rates. Some people play it that way. So one of them I cannot set. Oh, it's like but I can show cause it after. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When he doesn't show up for that. Oh. You can just go for it. Yeah, it's gonna take a minute. Like it's in motion. Okay, on the debt waller case, where are we?
We're going to go ahead and set for final pretrial, Your Honor, but I anticipate that this case will be resolved prior to that date.
Okay, so Ms. Detweiler, I think you've heard me say to folks, that's a final date. And if the case is pending, then we just are here in the court. Okay? Yes?
Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay. All right. We will see you then, if not before.
Okay.
You're good to go.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Thank you. You too. So, Mr. Mattson, I think I'll just reopen the meeting at 11 when that next. I'll probably just leave it open